In this video, I'm taking a look at the level 101 Dark Omen raid target, which supposedly has just had its damage lowered. That's good because it was quite painful. First of all, it does matter where you come in on the clock on this target. I like to enter from just about the top or a bit to the right of that, so I can go take down this Eradicator first. These Eradicators will spit out fire fields, which are quite annoying, and I'm sure I'm going to run into a few of them. Then we have these big enforcers. They spit out cheese balls, essentially. If you keep moving, you'll be fine, whereas the Eradicators are random. You can't tell where they're going to land. We also do have the riots. Make sure when you do engage the riots, which aren't actually on screen yet, they have to spawn in, and they do so roughly every minute or so. You have to make sure you use the slow field to get the most effect out of them and take the least damage possible, which is what we're all here for after all. Quick note, I am using 4 ships at U3, one of them actually at X1. Okay, there's a fire field, can't talk and drive. And it is important to realize that if you're using 5 ships at U1, you may have different results. Unfortunately, I can't scrap and rebuild my entire fleet, so you're just going to have to deal with the 4 ships that I do have. All right. Yep, there's a fire field, just went through that one. As you can see, it's hard to tell where they are going to land, so it is tricky. We also do have riots that are spawning in from the very top of the screen. You can actually kill them fine without the slow field, but you might take a bit more damage because you won't kill them quite as quickly. Against these different hulks, I think it is important to spin around in a bit of circles so you can use your 8 octa weapons to the most advantage and fire out with every single one of those, which is why I'm trying to do that. But then again, you also need to make sure you stay moving because a lot of this damage is splash based, so you'll take less of it if you are moving. There's a few riots. You notice I tried to use my X1, just the flagship weapon right here at the front to slow them down. It didn't end up firing. It does have a reload and probably needs to be in range of something for a little while before it can actually fire, but whatever. If the riots are aimed directly towards you, it's not actually that bad, and you can just about kill them with no big issues. I also do think it is pretty important to try and kill the fire ships early, the Eradicators early, because I find them very annoying. If you have the X1 flagship, well, good for you, and that will extinguish all fire fields, which means that you don't need to pay as close attention to all this driving stuff that I'm going on right now. Against these last 2 ships, we also do have some riots off on the side of the screen, be aware of that. Again, trying to stay spinning a little bit, so I use all my different octa weapons. That's really all there is to it. Incoming riots, try and stay moving again. That helps out a little bit. You also want to try and target those guys with your flagship weapon. Like I mentioned, that is the best way to do damage to them. And yep, running over another fire field, which I believe do explosive damage. It's actually pretty high, at least for things that are random and you can't really tell where they're going to land. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it is what it is. I'm going to try and take the least damage possible. At the start, I was taking roughly 45-50 minutes damage on this target. Let's see how low the damage has been reduced to. And again, I will show you my build in just a moment. I'm expecting a lot more of the damage to be explosive based, which it sort of is. You can see that there's mostly explosive, very little concussive. So for this target, you probably want 4 explosive armors. The other one was even, so maybe 3 explosive, 1 concussive makes more sense. I'm not really sure. Like I mentioned in my 100 video, you can also tell how much your octa weapons are helping based on what proportion of your damage is explosive. Looks like I have 37 minutes damage, 29 seconds, which is lower than the 45 I was originally taking. I still think this is a little bit high, and I kind of wanted it instant base repair. Looks like I'll have to settle with hitting about 8 of these things in a row, and then logging off for however many hours the fleet repairs for. And again, here's the build. It is 1 ship at X1, the others are at U3. I did spend roughly a day and a half on the flagship to speed that up, which, hey, guilty as charged. Well, if you do have questions on this target, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I'll try and get some other raid videos out to you shortly. Anyway, going to go ahead and say thank you to everyone whose name appears on screen now. And as always, this is Derpy signing out, helping you be a better pirate.